I'm a retro guy. I still play retro games to this day. I play Warzone every day. So that's my it's like right now my multiplayer current game that I play every night. But I also play a lot of the Sega Genesis Mini and the Turbo Graphics 16 Mini. So I'm a very much a retro guy. So video games are a big part of my life. I try to slip in like 15, 30 minutes anywhere I can. Yeah.
Is that like your release? Like you just kind of like you're part of your process?
I think so. And like plus, now we're sort of in the development of our own video game, AEW. I know it's a big secret.
Ooh.
But we're in development of that game. So I just kind of want to immerse myself in all sort of ages of video games and what games I like, what games everyone liked, what games. There are certain things. For example, you look at what's popular online these days, like Fall Guys, right? Among Us. Like what makes these things so popular among the common man? They're very simple, right? There's nothing really to them. I want to make sure that when we design a wrestling game, when we put out a wrestling game, not only is it fun to play, and that are you able to do all the maneuvers and all the crazy things you see every Wednesday on TNT, but I think it needs to be pick up and playable as well for the common everyday person. It needs to be fun. So I'm sort of studying on the job in a way while I play. I know it sounds like an excuse, but it's true. I'm trying to learn by playing, essentially. Yeah.
Absolutely. Let's take a look at the bids. Who's playing around on the bids right now?
Right now, we have a bidding war between Jacob Muir and Tiara Ennis. Tiara is currently in the lead at 360.
Okay, 360 Tiara is right there. Jacob, when it gets a little too rich for your blood, let us know if you're in or you're out. The sooner you do that, the sooner we settle up with this auction item and move on to the next auction item.
Yep.
Now, you were talking about the development of the AEW video game.
Yeah.
Are you like trying to figure out who's in charge? Or like, hey, I got some ideas. Like,
no.
Are you in their ear?
Let's make no mistake about it. I am the head creative director of this game. There is nobody else that has as much power in this team as me, which is why it sort of falls on my lap to be responsible for this game if it's good or if it sucks.
Okay.
Much
so
like
all complaints go to you.
Yes, please.
Praise will go to somebody else.
Yeah, this is exactly, I've said it about my own wrestling as well. Like in reality, if you dislike my matches, or if you dislike my character, or if you dislike my costume, hey, that's me, that's my fault. You can tell me straight up, because it's probably something I decided, and it's my fault. So I assume 100% responsibility. If something that I do sucks, it's probably my fault. Don't blame Tony Khan, don't blame the Young Bucks, don't blame anybody. Yeah. It's all right here. It's my fault. So this game, we have a great team assembled, guys, and we're amassing more people as days go by, and I'm really excited about some of the minds that we have involved. But yeah, in terms of the creative process right now, to get this thing off the ground and rolling and to the point where it's at right now, I've done put in a lot of extra hours, to put it lightly. So yeah, but I'm excited to show original footage, original gameplay. I just don't know when that will be. Yeah, 'cause you never know with these things. It's sometimes you feel like you make a lot of headway in like a week, and other times it feels like you just hit a wall and you can't make progress.
Well, in the video game world, what are the things that causes you to hit a wall?
I think it's like when you try to innovate, when you try to come up with an idea, like something that hasn't been done before in a video game. It's like I want to implement this, because if you really think back, like wrestling games in the past, as good as they were, I'm thinking back to like the No Mercies and the WrestleFests.
Yeah.
Wrestling has kind of become, there's a smorgasbord of these new maneuvers and sequences and double teams and triple teams that have never been programmed or put in a game. And it's like, how do you implement the sort of new age 2020 style wrestling, but still make it feel as fun and as playable as those old school games? That's sort of the tough part, and I want to make sure that when we do put those things in, that it doesn't feel broken and it doesn't completely break the game. Because you look at like a Jurassic Express match or a Lucha Brothers match, some of the stuff that Phoenix can do. It's like, I want to be able to do that, but I want it to still look natural and organic, like how he does it in the ring. Yeah, so those are the challenges, are making sure that these animations and that these things are in this game and represented properly, without breaking the game and having it look like, some recent games that have developed and have had bugs galore. And
Yeah.
it's funny. Like, I love watching them and it makes me laugh. But I want it to be a good game.
Yeah,
At the end of the day,
for it to
yeah.
flow almost like a match would, as opposed to pick somebody up, repeat it,
Right.
repeat
Yeah,
it.
yeah.
But make it flow, make it feel like an actual.
Make it flow, but then still have access to all your arsenal. Because, if
Yes.
you think back to No Mercy engine, the Aki engine, you know what I mean? It's like, if you like grapple, you have a strong grapple, and it's press a button or direction in a button. If you go through a roster, you have some guys have so many moves. A button and a direction and a button isn't enough to cover not even 20% of their arsenal. So it's like, how do we make it so that it's not too confusing for the player, but how do you have it so that you still feel like you're in control of your favorite wrestler? That's the tough part. And I think little by little we're chipping away at it, and the little bit of stuff that we're seeing is looking really good, like really, really good. So again, I'm still excited, but there's challenges every day. So,
Let's see what
yeah.
the challenges are like on the bids right now.
Yep.
Where are we at right now, Michael, on the
We're
bids?
battling with the last person. William Concepcion
It's
is saying he's
It's a fight to the death.
saying he has an account, but we can't find it.
Okay.
So
Uh-oh.
we may have to move on to the next person.
Okay.
Currently, Tierra Ennis at 460.
Tierra Ennis at 460. Do we have
Hey,
anybody?
That
but-
sounds like a good number to me.
That's
but
a good. 460 is a pretty good number right now.
good number.
We're settling up right now. If it gets too rich for your blood, let us know. If you're in or you're out, make sure we get the account settled. You have to have an.
Jacob Muir is at 500.
Jacob Mears a
Oh,
$500
that's an
tier.
even better number.
Tierra, let us know if you're in or
500.
you're out, and then we'll settle up. We'll put on the 6
Jacob-
o'clock, the 30-second clock.
Jacob
And
just
it's-
he's just listing off my bench press, you know?
Jacob,
He's listing it up.
He's Canadian as well.
Is he really?
Yeah, Canadian.
Even his brother Eli, I heard, is Canadian. Yeah, Jacob Eli Muir.
Yeah, Jacob Eli Muir,
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah. Yeah, no. That's a Canadian indie thing.
Obviously,
He may know. He may know. Who knows?
He
He's
may.
Canadian, yeah.
Maybe, but
Yeah.
back to this AEW video game also too. You say the moves have changed, and here we are.
Right,
But also too the situations have changed.
Exactly.
Because
Exactly.
Is there going to be a playable stage where you can do a stadium stampede in this video game?
Ooh.
That's what I want to know. Because
That's what everyone wants to know, huh?
I think
That's the big question.
That's a big question I have. Is you think about
Okay.
WCW backstage where you're
Right.
just beating everybody up?
Okay,
Is there going to be a
okay,
version
okay.
of that?
So what I will say for now,
Okay.
without saying too much,
Okay.
is that if you've seen something on our television or on our pay-per-view, there is a good chance that we're looking to implement it in some way, and there's a good chance that this game will sort of revolutionize everything that pro wrestling has done up until this point. But that is a huge undertaking.
Yes.
So that may not be ready at launch.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like having
So
having
having every single, you know what I mean? You
Yeah.
may not be able to have your mimosa match or
Yes.
whatever on launch, but I'm telling you, we know we are listening to the fans, and we know what you guys want to do, what you want to play as. We know what kind of variation of weapons that you guys want to use in a hardcore match, for example. And we're listening, and we're going to make sure that these things are all going to be tossed in the salad bowl for when you're ready to just throw down. But yeah, that's the exciting part, is the creation of something like a stadium stampede.
possibly.
But possibly. who
Possibly,
knows?
maybe.
Possibly, right?
Yeah.
But you got to think of the things that happen in the stadium stampede. Well, there's a lot of wacky things that can go on in a stadium stampede. Let's put it that way. And we just want to make sure that if we cross a line and you're getting too wacky, is too wacky a bad thing, or is too wacky a fun thing? That's sort of what I'm battling with, because I'm a wacky guy, and I think the wackier the better.
Absolutely.
Which is why, for now, I'm just working very strictly on getting the wrestling part down. I mean, I barely know how to wrestle myself, but I'm just working on that wrestling part, you know, learning on the job, on the fly. But that stuff, like I said, is so important to us as a company, I think, to release with the game. And we want to have fun modes, you know what I mean? When I played Fire Pro, like a lot of people just like the engine in general. They feel like it's a great wrestling engine, and that there's great sort of psychology implemented within how you play. For me, I just love playing hardcore death matches. Like, I like picking up light tubes, breaking them over guys, the exploding ring and all that stuff like that. I wanted to play that.
Yeah.
So I'm sure that there's going to be the player who's like, oh yeah, you know, I loved the Escalera de la Muerte match, the ladder match, right? I'm going to want to do a ladder match, or I'm going to want to break a table. We're going to make sure the wrestling is there, but we got to make sure that these gimmicks are also involved too, because these little bells and whistles, even though it's not in the core fundamentals of what pro wrestling is, it's just as important. Yeah. So.
Definitely gonna be a barbed wire broom, I'm assuming.
Ooh.
I think I heard a confirmation.
Safe to say, barbed wire broom is in the game.
In the game. Well, let's see what the bids are
that's
at
already
right
been discussed.